Elon Musk finds his school janitor jobless. What he does will warm your heart. You won't believe what happened when Elon Musk walked into his old high school one random afternoon and found out the janitor who once inspired him was now jobless. What he did next will change how you see kindness forever. It all started on a quiet Tuesday in Pretoria, South Africa. Elon Musk, the man behind Tesla, SpaceX, and some of the most groundbreaking innovations of our time, decided to visit his old high school. He hadn't been there in decades, but something about that place still tugged at his heart. Maybe it was the memories of struggling through tough days as a kid. Or maybe it was the people who had shaped him back then. As he strolled down the familiar hallways, he noticed something strange. The classrooms looked the same. The lockers still creaked when opened, but there was an emptiness in the air. Then it hit him. He didn't see Mr. Jacobson anywhere. You might not know this, but Mr. Jacobson wasn't just any janitor at the school. To young Elon, he was more than that. He was the guy who always had a kind word during hard times, the one who taught Elon the value of hard work by showing up every day, no matter what. So when Elon asked around, the answer shocked him. Mr. Jacobson had lost his job months ago after budget cuts hit the school. And worse, no one seemed to care enough to help him get back on his feet. That's when Elon made a decision that would remind everyone watching this story exactly why humanity can still surprise us in beautiful ways. Elon didn't waste a second. As soon as he heard about Mr. Jacobson, he knew he had to find him, but tracking down someone who'd been out of touch for months wasn't going to be easy. The school staff gave Elon a vague address, saying they hadn't heard from Mr. Jacobson since he left. So Elon hopped into his car, a modest sedan, not one of those fancy Teslas, and drove straight to the neighborhood. When he arrived, what he saw broke his heart. It was a small, run-down apartment building with peeling paint and flickering lights in the hallway. Room 2B, the unit listed on the address, looked like it hadn't been cleaned in weeks. There were stacks of unpaid bills taped to the door, and a note from the landlord warning about eviction. Elon knocked softly at first, then louder when no one answered. Finally, the door creaked open, and there stood Mr. Jacobson. He looked nothing like the strong, cheerful man Elon remembered from his childhood. His hair was grayer, his shoulders slumped, and his eyes carried a sadness that cut deep. "Mr. Jacobson," Elon said gently. "It's me, Elon. Do you remember me?" At first, Mr. Jacobson squinted, trying to place the face. Then recognition dawned, and his lips curled into a faint smile. "Elon. Little Elon, is that really you?" They stepped inside, and Elon got the full picture of how far Mr. Jacobson had fallen. The tiny apartment was cluttered with boxes and old furniture. A single light bulb hung from the ceiling, casting a dim glow over everything. On the table sat a half-eaten loaf of bread and an almost empty jar of peanut butter. "I heard what happened," Elon said, sitting across from him. "About your job. Why didn't you reach out to anyone?" Mr. Jacobson sighed heavily. "What could I say, son? Times are tough. People have their own problems. I didn't want to burden anyone." Elon leaned forward, his voice firm but kind. "You were never a burden to me. You helped me when I needed it most. Now it's my turn to return the favor." But helping Mr. Jacobson wasn't going to be as simple as writing a check. Elon learned quickly that this story went deeper than just losing a job. Jacobson had medical bills piling up after a heart condition left him unable to work full-time. His wife had passed away years ago, leaving him alone to raise their daughter, Sarah, who was now in college. She was working 2 jobs herself just to keep her tuition paid. But it wasn't enough. The weight of all this hit Elon hard. He realized this wasn't just about giving money, it was about restoring hope. And that meant finding a way to bring back dignity and purpose to Mr. Jacobson's life. Elon spent hours talking with Mr. Jacobson, learning more about his struggles and brainstorming ways to help. By the end of their conversation, Elon had a plan, or so he thought. He decided to start by paying off all of Mr. Jacobson's medical bills. It sounded straightforward enough, but when Elon reached out to the hospital, things took an unexpected turn. The hospital informed him that while they appreciated the gesture, Mr. Jacobson's debts weren't just limited to medical expenses. There were also outstanding loans tied to his wife's treatment years ago, debts that had ballooned over time due to interest. The total amount was staggering, far beyond what even someone like Elon could casually cover without asking questions. But here's the twist. As Elon dug deeper into these financial records, he discovered something shocking. A significant portion of those loans didn't belong to Mr. Jacobson at all. They were linked to a fraudulent scheme run by a local lender who had preyed on vulnerable families during tough times. Mr. Jacobson had unknowingly become a victim of this scam, forced to pay for loans he never fully understood or agreed to take. Elon couldn't believe it. For years, Mr. Jacobson had been carrying the weight of someone else's greed. All the while, the real culprits walked free, profiting off people's desperation. Fueled by anger and determination, Elon knew he couldn't stop at simply clearing the debt. He had to expose the truth and make sure no one else fell victim to this predatory system. But taking on a corrupt lender wasn't going to be easy. These kinds of operations were tangled up in legal loopholes and shady connections. If Elon pushed too hard, he risked drawing attention to himself in ways he hadn't anticipated. Still, he refused to back down. "This isn't just about you anymore," Elon told Mr. Jacobson later that evening. "It's about everyone who's been taken advantage of. We're going to fix this for good." Mr. Jacobson looked at him, tears welling up in his eyes. "You don't have to do this, Elon. I've already caused you enough trouble." "No," Elon replied firmly. "You didn't cause anything. You deserve better, and I'm not stopping until you get it." With that, Elon made a call to some of the smartest lawyers and investigators he knew. Within days, a team was assembled ready to unravel the web of deceit surrounding Mr. Jacobson's case. What they uncovered would send shockwaves through the community and force Elon to confront a side of justice he hadn't expected. The investigation moved fast, but not without resistance. As Elon's team dug deeper into the fraudulent lending operation, they uncovered more than just Mr. Jacobson's case. Dozens of families had been targeted by the same scheme, people who were already struggling to make ends meet, now trapped in a cycle of debt they couldn't escape. The lender, a man named Victor Lang, operated under the radar, using shell companies and fake paperwork to cover his tracks. But Elon wasn't about to let him get away with it. Victor Lang wasn't your average scammer. He had friends in high places, politicians, business owners, and even law enforcement officers who turned a blind eye to his crimes in exchange for kickbacks. When word got out that someone was sniffing around his operation, Lang didn't hesitate to fight back. Anonymous threats started showing up at Elon's office. Late-night calls warned him to mind his own business. Even Mr. Jacobson received a chilling message slipped under his door: "Drop it, or else." But Elon didn't flinch. If anything, the intimidation only strengthened his resolve. "They think they can scare us," he told his team during one of their late-night strategy sessions, "but we're exposing every single name on that list." Finally, the day came when Elon and his lawyers went public. They held a press conference, laying out every detail of the investigation: the forged documents, the illegal interest rates, the names of everyone involved. It was a media firestorm. Reporters crowded the room, cameras flashing as Elon stood behind the podium, calm but resolute. "This isn't just about one man," Elon said, his voice steady but charged with emotion. "This is about standing up for people who've been silenced for too long." Mr. Jacobson worked hard his entire life, only to be crushed by a system designed to exploit him. That ends today. As the evidence mounted, the authorities had no choice but to act. Arrest warrants were issued for Victor Lang and several others tied to the scheme. Lang tried to flee the country, but Elon's team had anticipated that. With help from some high-tech tracking tools courtesy of SpaceX, they located him within hours. By sunrise, Lang was in handcuffs, facing charges that would keep him behind bars for decades. For Mr. Jacobson, the news brought both relief and disbelief. Sitting in his tiny apartment, watching the story unfold on TV, he struggled to process what had happened. I never imagined," he stammered when Elon called to check on him. You've done so much for me, son, more than anyone should. But Elon wasn't done yet. Clearing Mr. Jacobson's name and exposing the fraud was just the beginning. Now it was time to give him back something even more valuable than money, his dignity. With Victor Lang behind bars and the fraudulent loans wiped clean, Mr. Jacobson finally felt like he could breathe again. But Elon knew that fixing the financial mess was only part of the solution. He wanted to do something bigger, something that would truly honor the man who had once inspired him. So Elon came up with an idea. He reached out to his network of contacts in the tech and education industries and pitched a bold plan: create a scholarship fund in Mr. Jacobson's name. The fund would support students from low-income families, giving them access to resources and opportunities they might not otherwise have. It wasn't just about money, it was about creating a legacy of kindness and hope, just like the one Mr. Jacobson had unknowingly given Elon years ago. When Elon broke the news to Mr. Jacobson over dinner at a quiet restaurant, the older man was speechless. Tears streamed down his face as he tried to find the words to thank Elon, but none seemed big enough. Finally, he managed to say, "You're doing this for me." After everything, Elon smiled, shaking his head. "No, Mr. Jacobson, I'm doing this because of you." The scholarship fund launched within months, quickly gaining attention across South Africa and beyond. Students applied in droves, sharing stories of their own struggles and dreams. Each recipient received not only financial aid, but also mentorship programs designed to guide them through school and into successful careers. And every year, on its anniversary, Elon made sure to visit Pretoria personally to speak at the awards ceremony, always crediting Mr. Jacobson as the true hero behind it all. As for Mr. Jacobson, life began to change in ways he never expected. With his debts cleared and a renewed sense of purpose, he started volunteering at local community centers, mentoring kids who reminded him of young Elon. His daughter Sarah graduated college debt-free thanks to the scholarship fund, and she went on to become a teacher herself, a profession inspired by her father's quiet strength. But perhaps the most surprising twist came months later, when Elon received a letter from Mr. Jacobson. In it he wrote, "Dear Elon, thank you doesn't feel like enough, but it's all I have. You've given me more than a second chance. You've shown me that even in the darkest times, there's light waiting to break through. I hope someday I can pay forward even a fraction of what you've done for me. Until then, know this: you've restored my faith in humanity. Your friend, Mr. Jacobson." Reading those words, Elon felt a lump rise in his throat. For all his achievements in business and technology, nothing compared to the joy of knowing he'd made a real difference in someone's life. Still, the story didn't end there. As Elon looked ahead, he realized how much work remained to be done, not just in South Africa, but around the world. There were countless others like Mr. Jacobson, quietly struggling under systems that favored the powerful. And Elon, well, he wasn't ready to stop fighting for them yet. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button and share it with someone who needs a reminder that kindness still exists in the world. And if you want to hear more inspiring stories about people making a difference, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Now here's my question for you. Who in your life has inspired you the way Mr. Jacobson inspired Elon? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your story. Oh, and one last thing before you go. Do you think everyone deserves a second chance, no matter their circumstances, or are some debts too big to forgive? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's start a conversation. Until next time, take care, and remember, even the smallest act of kindness can change someone's life forever.